What's up, everybody? Welcome to Filthy Stream number 7 or 8. The audio was messed up again for my last stream, so that just goes right into the trash. And I thought about watching the same stuff as the last stream, but I'm not gonna do that. I guess that's just lost. That brilliant, invaluable insight of mine regarding the specific videos that I watched last stream is lost. So let's all have a moment of silence for that before we watch some other random news related stuff. I mean, I know that's not the funnest thing to watch, but what can I say? I'm not a fun person. I've never enjoyed fun. So, without further ado, let's see. Leftist Ford worker punished after Trump flips him off after
a worker on a
disrespectful stunt. Trump has testy exchange with Ford worker. That sounds interesting.
A worker on a floor below Trump can be heard shouting something that included the words, quote, pedophile protector. In a statement, a Ford Motor Company spokesperson said, quote, one of our core values is respect, and we don't condone anyone saying anything inappropriate like that within our facilities.
Like and subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notifications anytime I go live or make a video. Y'all already know what to do.
I don't like this guy. I was wondering why there was like royalty-free trap beats playing during this news segment. I kind of thought I was clicking on the news segment, to be honest. I don't know why. Well, damn, I wish we could just watch this news segment. I don't know what this guy's gonna say. I guess I shouldn't just write him off immediately, but I gotta say, I got weird vibes. But sounds like this Ford worker is pretty base to me. That sounds awesome. Like you have your chance to say what you want to say to someone that has a great deal of power over you, essentially, and you know, luckily in America we can do that. We can express our grievances, right, without repercussions, right? All right, let's see what this fucking guy has to say.
Inappropriate like that within our facilities.
Like and subscribe, hit the bell to get notifications anytime I go live or make a video. Y'all already know what to do. Let's get into this. Donald Trump. I'm gonna go to Donald J. Trump. He out here acting a fool. And you know what? I don't have a problem with it. Let me tell you why. These fake, phony politicians will sit out here and in your face will act a certain way, and behind your back they dirty dog devils.
Wait, why is he talking about Trump like Trump did something cool? I don't... Punished? Wait. Oh, Trump flips him off? Oh, okay. I didn't see that in the video.
A worker on a floor below Trump can be heard shouting something that included the words, quote, pedophile protector. In a statement, a Ford Motor Company spokesperson said, quote, one of our
Shit sounds good, sped up.
and we don't condone anyone saying anything inappropriate like that within our facilities.
Like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. Make a video. Y'all already know what to do. Let's get into this. Donald Trump. I'm gonna go to Donald J. Trump. He out here acting a fool. And you know what? I don't have a problem with it. Let me tell you why. These fake
Freedom Chat.
politicians.
Let me tell you why. Because I don't ever have a problem with anything that he does. Except every once in a while. When it's convenient. Because this guy's clearly a Trumper.
Here and in your face will act a certain way, and behind your back they dirty.
I don't want to judge, but I'm getting I mean, that was kind of blatant, right? To open it like that. It's like, and then the Freedom Chat, Officer Tatum, he's a fucking cop.
At least Donald Trump in your face is the same person he is when he in the Oval Office with Melania. And you can't see him. Same person. He don't give He didn't give it then, and he don't give it now, and he ain't gonna give it in the future. So Donald Trump was at the Ford.
He's the same person except for some of his alleged activities, right? He doesn't do everything out in the open.
Power plant or a car plant or whatever you call it.
But also, I love how this is always like, this is like the one redeeming quality people can really say about Trump. It's like, is that really that great if the quality of the person's character is poor? Like, I mean, I guess there is some legitimacy to it, right? Like, you would rather someone be upfront than be deceptive, right? But if that person who is upfront, well, wait, let me back up, because I think to say that Trump is not deceptive, that's not at all true. So I don't want to say that. But as far as him basically foregoing president level etiquette, right? That is seen as this redeeming quality. It kind of is, I guess, but it's just funny to me because it's also so insignificant when it comes to what actually matters, like when you're dealing with someone that is in a position of power. Then you probably want to focus on like the quality of their character, right? So if he's just like more rude or whatever, that's not actually a positive character trait. You know what I mean? It's like the only way you can praise that is if you're praising it from a completely neutral perspective, where Trump is just inevitable, right? Like, and you're basically coming from the perspective of like, I'm just experiencing this person in a position of leadership, and it's refreshing at least that they don't adhere to a very rigorous level of etiquette, because I guess, maybe it's refreshing, that's fine. But that doesn't even make it on the list of like pros and cons if you're actually in good faith trying to measure the quality of someone in leadership's character. It kind of shows that there's really not anything substantive that you can say about him that's good, right?
Was Making America Great Again, and I'll show you a quick clip of a recap of what that was. And then somebody said something crazy to Donnie, and Donnie gave him the bird. The bird pooped with it. I'm just kidding. Roll the clip.
Hello, everybody. Bill Ford, and he's just expanded the plant and went to 24 hour shifts. And Jim Farley, everybody knows Jimmy's a legend in the industry. But they're just saying their business is better than ever. They're doing 24 hours now, 60 round the clock, and they do expansions, and they're building more plants in the United States because of tariffs. And Jim said, and Bill very strongly confirmed, they've never seen anything like it. In all of the years that they've been in business, they've never seen what's happening now like it. So it's a great honor. But so this plant, you might talk about it. This plant goes 24 hours around the clock. Before it used to go 3 hours around the clock.
No, it will. So we're adding a third shift, and it's going to be running, as the president said, 24 hours, 6 days a week. And that just shows the demand there is for this product, which is the best-selling product, as you all know, in America, and it just gets hotter and hotter. So we have a great relationship with the president and his whole staff. They've been great to work with for us. He personally is incredibly responsive every time we need something or call. We very much appreciate it, and we couldn't be more excited. We're adding market share. We're growing as a company. We're adding jobs, not just here but elsewhere. Times are good for us.
And all of the U.S. automakers now are doing great. And before they were having a really hard time. You couldn't. The environmentalists would not have let them survive.
Now, this is Donald Trump.
Did the environmentalists make them have to only be open 3 days a week? Or I thought this was because of your tariffs. What are you talking about?
Y'all driving Fords. That's how you get to work. That's how you get to work to make the money that you make the money to pay taxes. And then they hiring 40,000, 50, 100,000 people, and all them paying taxes. And Ford has to pay.
Okay, I mean, we get it. We get it. Trump did this kind of insane tariff thing that was like basically putting the cart way before the horse. And now he can basically use any relatively small success as far as creating more industry, more factory productivity in America as proof that the crazy tariff thing he did was the right thing to do. And I'm not an economist, so I'm not gonna I can only understand it in the most simplest of terms, and that way it seemed like pretty stupid, and that's why he had to, I think, kind of go back on like most of them. But as far as this specific example, I don't see why this is a bad thing. I mean, I don't know if dialing back environmental regulations is something to boast about. I think that's a terrible thing, personally. But I guess more people having jobs, that's good. I'm sure it pays pretty well. Let's watch this. I want to see this. Because earlier we were watching Fox News, and they were talking about how this guy, Tim Walz, he's like crazy, hates America so much, doesn't respect rule of law, and he's fanning the flames of the protests, right? The terrible protests in Minnesota. The protests in Iran, Trump said to keep protesting. Trump is in full support of those protests. But the protests here, I guess, are much, much worse. And, anyone who, I guess, fans those flames, so to speak, which allegedly this guy does. We're about to listen. Let's see how accurate the Fox News portrayal of this guy was.
Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Tim Walz. What's happening in Minnesota right now defies belief. News reports simply don't do justice to the level of chaos and disruption and trauma the federal government is raining down upon our communities. 2,000 to 3,000 armed agents of the federal government have been deployed to Minnesota. Armed, masked, undertrained ICE agents are going door to door, ordering people to point out where their neighbors of color live. They're pulling over people indiscriminately, including U.S. citizens, and demanding to see their papers. And at grocery stores, at bus stops, even at our schools, they're breaking windows, dragging pregnant women down the street, just plain grabbing Minnesotans and shoving them into unmarked vans, kidnapping innocent people with no warning and no due process. Let's be very, very clear. This long ago stopped being a matter of immigration enforcement. Instead, it's a campaign of organized brutality against the people of Minnesota by our own federal government. Last week, that campaign claimed the life of Renee Nicole Good. We've all watched the video. We've all seen what happened. And yet, instead of conducting an impartial investigation so we can hold accountable the officer responsible for Renee's death, the Trump administration is devoting the full power of the federal government to finding an excuse to attack the victim and her family. Just yesterday, 6 federal prosecutors, including the longtime career prosecutor leading the charge to investigate and eliminate fraud in our state's programs, quit their jobs rather than go along with this assault on the United States Constitution. But as bad as it's been, Donald Trump intends for it to get worse. This week, he went online to promise that, quote, the day of retribution and reckoning is coming.
Dude, it's crazy. This is crazy. Because according to Fox News, like, this is the guy that is fomenting violence and, like, wants a civil war, right? But when you hear his perspective, which, by the way, sounds way more grounded in reality, if you have any level of insight into the whole ICE thing, like, they arrested, like, there's a lot of people, undocumented immigrants, right? Some of them also had warrants for their arrest. Very few. They got those guys first. That was like the first day, however many months ago. Maybe it's even been a year by now. It's at this point in my life, years feel like months, but they ran out of those people. So then they just, had to go after undocumented immigrants, illegal immigrants. And they kind of got all of those too. So now they're just like, they're really just grabbing anybody. And you could say that's not true, but I believe, actual people saying that this is happening and people that are experiencing it, like in their cities, for example. So yeah, I totally believe that that's what's happening. I think it makes sense that that's what's happening. The thing is, like, once you get all of because the thing is, they knew about a lot of these undocumented immigrants. Like, they were documented as undocumented, or as, or visas that ran out. They got all of them. So now they just have to find undocumented immigrants that aren't on their radar in any way. So they're just these are theoretical people. So they're on the hunt for people that they won't know. They can't know if they're undocumented unless they force them to show them their papers. So yeah, they're just harassing brown people, including U.S. citizens, obviously, because if you don't think that getting stopped by a masked militia and being forced to show your papers under threat of arrest isn't harassment, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think anyone wants that. Even these bootlicking ICE supporters, I think if it happened to them, they would probably change their tune.
That's a direct threat against the people of this state, who dared to vote against him 3 times and who continue to stand up for freedom.
Oh, wait. Is Minnesota like a... see, I was wondering, I'm like, why is ICE in Minnesota? But I don't know. I mean, I guess I just maybe have an oversimplified idea of like where South American immigrants end up or whatever, but I didn't think about this, that Minnesota apparently they vote Democrat, right? So they're a problem for him, right? That's an interesting addition to this whole situation.
With courage and empathy and profound grace. All across Minnesota, people are stepping up to help their neighbors who are being unjustly and unlawfully targeted. They're distributing care packages and walking kids to school and raising their voices in peaceful protest, even though doing so has made many of our fellow Minnesotans targets for violent retribution. Folks, I know it's scary, and I know it's absurd that we all have to be defending law and order, justice, and humanity while also caring for our families and trying to do our jobs. So tonight, let me say once again to Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, end this occupation. You've done enough. Let me say 4 critical things to the people of Minnesota. 4 things I want you to hear as you watch the news and look out for your neighbors. First, Donald Trump wants this chaos. He wants confusion. And yes, he wants more violence on our streets. We cannot give him what he wants. We must protest loudly, urgently, but also peacefully. Indeed, as hard as we will fight in the courts and at the ballot box, we cannot and will not let violence prevail. You're angry, I'm angry.
Okay, so he's saying that he's saying, I guess he's saying the same thing that Trump is saying to Iranian protesters. He's saying to keep protesting. I guess this is probably the clip where the Fox News people, you know, they're gloming onto this and saying that he's fomenting violence or whatever because, you know, they call every protest violent, and they don't want protests, and Donald Trump doesn't want a protest in America. He's just supporting this one in Iran because it's convenient for him. And by the way, telling the country where the protesters are apparently getting slaughtered en masse to keep protesting is kind of a weird thing. I mean, it makes sense to me why this guy would say that. I actually think it's really cool that the governor is being this bold in his stance against Trump, because Trump is, you know, this guy is tasked with working for his state, protecting his state. And Donald Trump is the federal government, right? And he's just sending his federal government cronies, his Gestapo, essentially, his masked militia, to go into the state and harass people, trying to round up undesirables, right? And he's telling it like it is, man. And this is what you got to do. Like, some people say to compete with someone like Trump, you got to like stoop to their level and just like lie and just say, you know, whoever doesn't disagree with you, you just say whatever horrible shit you want to say. And then when it comes to you and the people that support you, you just say only positive stuff all the time. Like, it's almost like a very elementary, you know, that there's this book called like it's called like How to Win Influence and Favor or something like that, but for all intents and purposes, it's called How to Make People Like You, right? And this is like, if that was like a children's book, that's Trump's doctrine. That's his method. It's effective, but it is extremely simplistic. And so I don't really think that I don't think that the best way to counter that is to just be also, you know, extremely disingenuous and totally unfettered and unabashed when it comes to spouting your own propaganda. But something like this is good. Like, you also can't, it's also like, you can't like not be aggressive, kind of, or you have to be stern. Like, you gotta be, you know, when you're dealing with like a tyrant, like a bully. Like, I think Trump is absolutely a tyrant. He wants to be a dictator, and he's creating this alternate universe where he is somehow this great benevolent leader, and it's not true. and I don't know much about Tim Walz, but like, for example, I didn't know he was the governor of Minnesota. I actually only know who he is because he was the vice president nominee, right? And I knew who he was during the election, and then I never really thought about him again. But this guy should run for president, straight up.
Angry's not a strong enough word.
The bar is so low. The bar is so low. I can literally say that after 3 minutes of someone speaking, and like, I'm dead serious. Like, the bar is so fucking low when it comes to presidential candidates.
But we must remain peaceful. Second, you are not powerless. You are not helpless, and you are certainly not alone. All across Minnesota, people are learning about opportunities, not just to resist, but to help people who are in danger. Thousands upon thousands.
I want to listen to this part again because I feel like this has to be he's fomenting violence and, you know, trying to cause a violent uprising of Minnesotans of all people. But yeah, I just want to hear this a little more clearly.
As hard as we will fight in the courts and at the ballot, you've done enough. Caring for our families and trying to do our jobs. So tonight, let me say once again to Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, end this occupation. You've done enough. Let me say 4 critical things to the people of Minnesota. 4 things I want you to hear as you watch the news and look out for your neighbors. First, Donald Trump wants...
So, no, sorry, did he fuck that up? He goes, stop it, this occupation. I think he probably meant to say, stop this occupation.
Also caring for our families and trying to do our jobs. So tonight, let me say once again to Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, end this occupation.
End this occupation.
You've done enough.
It's all right. The message still comes through. It don't matter.
Let me say 4 critical things to the people of Minnesota. 4 things I want you to hear as you watch the news and look out for your neighbors. First, Donald Trump wants this chaos. He wants confusion. And yes, he wants more violence on our...
No, he doesn't, guys. He just wants to get all the illegals. And, you know, they don't know who exactly they are. So they have to just, you know, they have to ask everyone for their papers. Gosh, it's not that big of a deal, guys. Just, everyone just wear your passport and your ID on the outside of your clothes, you know? Or maybe like here, so that they can see it more easily and then they won't have to bother you. He doesn't want chaos, okay? He wants to make America great again. And we all know that the worst thing in America is those people that have been living right alongside you, working, paying taxes without ever getting a tax return that you had no idea happened to not have the right documentation to be here. Your co-worker, that's the problem. That's why they're raiding schools and places of work, because it's, you know, it's your fellow students, it's your co-workers that you never have a problem with, and if you didn't know that they didn't have the right documentation, you wouldn't have anything bad to say about them. That's the problem. So it's crazy to say that sending a small militia of masked men to you know, try and weed these people out of the population of a free country. What do you mean? Come on, Walz. Chill, bro.
Here as you watch the news and look out for your neighbors. First, Donald Trump wants this chaos. He wants confusion. And yes, he wants more violence on our streets. We cannot give him what he wants. We must protest loudly, urgently, but also peacefully. Indeed, as hard as we will fight in the court,
wait a second,
ballot box, we cannot and will not let violence prevail. You're angry, I'm angry. Angry is not a strong enough word, but we must remain peaceful. Second, you are not powerless, you are not helpless, and you are certainly not alone. All across Minnesota, people are learning about opportunities, not just to resist, but to help people who are in danger. Thousands upon thousands of our fellow Minnesotans are going to be relying on mutual aid in the days and weeks to come, and they need our support. Tonight, I want to share another way you can help. Witness.
I thought he was going to say by liking this video.
Help us establish a record of exactly what's happening in our communities. You have an absolute right to peacefully film ICE agents as they conduct these activities. So carry your phone with you at all times. And if you see these ICE agents in your neighborhood, take out that phone and hit record. Help us create a database of the atrocities against Minnesotans, not just to establish a record for posterity, but to bank evidence for future prosecution.
Oh, damn. This dude's not messing around.
Third thing I want to say to you tonight is we will not have to live like this forever. Accountability is coming at the voting booth. And
that's why they're wearing masks, though, right? That's why they wear masks. They know what they're doing is wrong. And, you know, the current power regime could change, and then, you know, stuff like that might not be so excusable. You know, instead of someone in the White House that's pardoning the January 6 rioters, you might have someone in the White House that's prosecuting ICE agents, but they have masks on, so that might be difficult. They have masks on. They don't identify themselves. It's not like cops where, you know, they have to wear their name and, like, you can ask for their badge number. This ain't no normal cops. This is they don't have to follow rules, which is a bad thing, in case you didn't know.
Claim our communities from Donald Trump. We will reestablish a sense of safety for our neighbors, and we will bring an end to this moment of chaos, confusion, and trauma. We will find a way to move forward, and we'll do it together, and we'll not be alone. Every day, we are working with business leaders, faith leaders, legal experts, and elected officials from across this country. They've all seen what Donald Trump is trying to do to our state, and they know their states could be next. And that brings me to the fourth thing I want to say tonight, Minnesota, how incredibly proud I am of the way that you've risen to meet this unbearable moment. But I'm not at all surprised, because this is who we are. Minnesotans believe in the rule of law, and Minnesotans believe in the dignity of all people. We're a place where there's room for everybody, no matter who you are, or who you love, or where you came from. A place where we feed our kids, we take care of our neighbors, and we look out for those in the shadows of life. We're an island of decency in a country being driven towards cruelty. We will remain an island of decency, of justice, of community, of peace. And tonight...
Damn. This bro repping his state. I've been to Minnesota, but not for long, just traveling through it. I can't even remember anything about it except I think they have like these like walking tunnels or something that are kind of cool, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, bro's repping hard, and he's not coming off like the violence monger that Fox News was making him out to be. Sounds more like a response to violence, which is not at all surprising because, I mean, if you really take an honest look at... Actually, I won't get into that now. Let's finish this up.
For you simply to ask, don't let anyone take that away from us. Thank you, protect each other, and may God bless the people of Minnesota. That is Minnesota Governor Tim Walz giving a rare speech to the entire state. Very brief, lasting only about 6 minutes. He said this is not an immigration operation. He called it organized brutality, and as you heard, he laid out his 4 major points. We'll, of course, recap those for you along with the day's news, and it is busy again today on this Wednesday. So stay with us for continuing coverage of the federal crackdown. We will have the live reports and, again, those latest updates on our news for you tonight at 10.
Damn. All right, this makes me want to watch more stuff. Okay, watch Governor Walz to
quit their job.
Oh, it's the same thing.
Rather than go
oh wait, this is on Fox News. Wait, do they? Oh, they just played the whole thing. Oh, wow. When they're going to put this guy in jail for what? Is Pam Bondi doing anything? Walz is a traitor to America. Communism, no, what the dude, what are these people talking about? You are being used. People of Minnesota that are pissed off because your coworkers and neighbors and maybe yourself is being harassed and possibly arrested and threatened with violence by a masked militia of people just literally not at all affiliated with your state. You're being used by, I guess, this guy, your governor, who is responding to the thing that you're mad about. Somehow he did it in reverse. I don't know how he managed to do that, but he's using you. He's the reason that you're pissed off about the federal ICE agents in your state. Wake up, people. He did it in reverse. Can't you see that? Communism knows no bounds, okay? That's the first thing you need to understand. That includes magic. Lock this moron up. I can't wait. Stand this dope. I can't wait. Stand this dope. Yeah. You're definitely not a moron yourself or anything, Courtney. Oh, hey, look, everyone, it's the governor of Mini Somalia. So, is there some sort of, like, crazy problem where people that immigrated from foreign countries then to Minnesota are then terrorizing not only the people of Minnesota, but people all over the country? Is that what these people are mad about? Is that why they're so hostile toward the idea, like, of immigrants in this state that they don't even live in? Because I didn't know about anything like that. Shame on you, Governor Walz. You obviously do not care about your people, or you would cooperate with the federal government. Huh. Shame on you. You have to cooperate no matter what. Why is everyone mad? They can't even give a good reason. They're just told to not like this guy.